Just a couple weeks after one of the greatest international clashes in Smash history at Kagaribi 10, many of the world's greatest players were back at it again this past weekend in Vancouver, Canada. Battle of BC 5 featured some of the best players from Canada, the US, Mexico, Japan, France, Spain, and Ireland, as well as top competitors from around the world. Battle of BC promised to have answers for a few of us. Is Japan really the top region in Smash Ultimate right now? Are there any hidden bosses in NA that can shock the world, kind of like the Japanese players did at Kagaribi? And can Sparg0 once again finish the job and officially take the crown as the best player in the world? Join us as we answer all these questions and more in our Battle of BC 5 recap. Kagaribi was pure chaos, with massive upsets across the board as nobody was safe from the Japanese hidden bosses, no matter where they were from. Would chaos reign in the same way at Battle of BC once again? Not really. First, a quick reminder on how upset factor works. Upset factor measures how much farther the player who was upset was projected to go in loser's bracket compared to the lower seed who upset them. Upset factor 3 is a good baseline for a decent upset, while upset factor 5 is where the major upsets start coming in. Where Kagaribi produced a ridiculous 17 upsets of at least upset factor 5, Battle of BC 5 produced just 7, and most of them were saved for the final day.
The biggest shocks were easily Arizona Snake Flow's win over Shattuck and Japanese Riddle main Misodero's win over Goblin. Shattuck would fall in one of the most unfortunate draws of the tournament, as he had to face another Snake in losers, Colorado's top player, Kronos. This was a matchup of the 30th and 35th seed for 129th place. Kronos wasn't done ruining the weekend of Corn players either, as he took down Neo at 33rd later on in the bracket. But aside from Roar, an Incineroar player who took down a pair of strong Canadians in Z and Silver on his way to 65th, the hidden bosses that we saw at Kagaribi, like Tamapi Daifuku, Levi, and Matera, weren't emerging. Top players were taking care of business. Dimitri, Ireland's top player and one of the world's best Piranha plants, made the biggest splash of any triple-digit seed, taking down Mr. R and Jojo de Hobo as part of a 4-set losers run to 33rd, one of Plant's best run of the post-lockdown era. As Saturday came to a close, a couple of big upsets came in, but from players who have proven themselves time and time again. Mr. E used his sword mastery to take down the newly sponsored Big D. Siski took down Riddles, breaking the 2-2 tie in their lifetime set count and stopping Riddle's 2-set win streak. Siski arguably had the best Saturday of anyone at the entire event, as he closed out the day with another upset win over Yoshidora to make top 24 on winner's side. One hidden boss did emerge, though playing a character that many have entirely written off, Lucario. Armadillo has been one of East Canada's strongest player for a while, but he hasn't had many opportunities to prove it on a major level. For people who follow Smash Online, they might know him as the guy who shows up to smack down top players in online brackets with a character they know nothing about. That said, he already had some solid offline wins under his belt. He won a 150-player Quebec regional over players like JW and Smock back in summer of 2021. At the major level, he had a 33rd place finish at Gommel 2022 with wins over Tickle and Nurse. But he still was looking for a big breakout win over an international opponent. A 3-0 over top Spanish Ken, Andres FN, was a good start, but that was nothing compared to what he started cooking in his next match. Not only was this a breakout win for Armadillo, it was by far the best win for a North American player over the visiting Japanese players at Battle of BC. The closest competition came deep in losers bracket on Saturday, when Washington Pac-Man player JDV took out Ken in a vicious 3-0, ending it in one of the hardest reads you'll ever see. The Upset Factor 3 win was particularly shocking when you consider how much Pac-Man experience Ken has built up in Japan, and probably the biggest win for the Pacific Northwest at this event.
Despite these losses, it was a tremendous weekend for Japan at Battle of BC. Ken and Nia were the only two Japanese players who failed to make their seeds. Every other Japanese player was at least tied or made their seed, thanks to a couple of fantastic loser runs that we'll get into a little bit later. But first, we gotta take a quick shout out, man, for US best performance against Japanese players this weekend, which actually didn't even happen at Battle of BC. It came from Sumabato 38, which took place in Osaka and still had some strong attendance despite the larger Japanese delegation going out into Vancouver. It was a Pikachu player H4, a Pacific Northwesterner who won the event as 34th seed. He took down Jogimbu, Sigma, Snow, and along the way became the first US player to take a Japanese event of this size, which is pretty damn ridiculous, and we gotta highlight it regardless of what's going on. But again, let's get back to Canada. It looked like day 2 was going to end with all the top 8 seeds holding strong in winner's bracket, but in top 24 qualifier round, 2 of the biggest upsets of the day went down. Zomba picked up his biggest win since his breakout performance in 2021 Smash World Tour Championships that of course spawned a legacy of Zombair, but Eat Man came out with a 3-1 win over MK Leo, the first time a R.O.B player has actually beaten Leo at a major. The other upset shows just how stacked the event was. The fact that Tweak and Meister were meeting in the round before winners quarters speaks volumes. But Meister wasn't even seeded to make it here. That was Big D's slot before, which was stolen by Mr. E, who Meister defeated 3-0. Tweak and Meister had gone back and forth throughout the years. The pair was sitting tied 4-4 at majors entering the weekend, but Tweak was on a 2-set winning streak. He had finally figured out the matchup with Diddy Kong after 3 failed attempts with Aegis and Sephiroth. And then Meister just put up the wall for 20 minutes, holding it down, playing strong defensively, and was able to break through Tweak and get a grinding 3-0 victory for the Game & Watch. Meister would also get a win on Gluttony, before bowing out at 5th with fellow Game & Watch Mia, both who continue to show how ridiculous this character is. Championship Sunday had so many killers in the losers bracket. Tweak and Leo were both starting down there, and both were more than capable of making a huge run to top 8 and beyond. But it turns out we may have been forgetting just a couple of people. Kameme fell to Mutace in winners bracket in his last set on Saturday. Despite a 2-stock for the Japanese Sora in the first game, Mute was able to lock it in and get 3 straight close wins to take the set. He has been one of the best Japanese players in American events, dating all the way back to his 2nd place finish in EVO 2016 Smash 4 bracket. One of the greatest minds in the Japanese scene. If there was anyone who had the skill set and experience to handle the loser run bracket against the best players in the world, is that boy Kameme. He had just barely squeaked into top 24 with a 3-2 win over British Luigi main Luigi, who truly had some of the most unfortunate situations, falling to 25th as Sparg0, then Kameme. Still a very impressive run for the top UK player in attendance in his first overseas major. And the fact that he took Kameme to last hit only became more and more impressive as we saw Kameme run through that losers bracket.
We've seen longer losers bracket runs than the 6-set streak Kameme rattled off this weekend, but few can match the quality. After Lugi, Kameme took down Onin, MK Leo, Gluttony, Yoshidora, and Mia. And yes, this does mean that MK Leo exited the tournament at 13th place. His first offline finish outside of the top 12 since his 33rd place finish at Umibora Japan Major in 2019. He dropped sets with both his Aegis and his Byleth. And it's back to the drawing board for MK Leo, who faces the biggest uphill battle for the number 1 title he's faced since Ultimate's release. Kameme destroyed Onin in a 3-0, and his 3 straight wins to close out his 3-1 victory over Yoshidora included a pair of 2-stocks. He won Game 5 sets against a pair of clutch masters. Against Mia, his Hail Mary Me brawler did just enough to win a game and keep him in the set long enough to clutch it out with Sora. But as good as this loser run was, it had competition from one of his countrymen. Shootone clearly did not let his loss against Armadillo get to him. He returned to the venue for top 24 on Sunday, and after a shaky Game 1 start against JDV, he looked just about unstoppable. After 5-stocking JDV over the next 3 games, Shootone took out Mute Ace, Siski, Zomba, and Meister before he finally ended Kameme's run. Shootone's dominance in losers on Sunday can't be overstated. Of the 18 games he won in these 6 sets, he won 11 by at least 2 stocks. He dropped just 3 games on the way, finishing with a ridiculous plus 27 stock margin across 21 games. After losing game 1 to Siski, he won the next 12 games in a row with plus 21 stocks, coming just 3 shy of averaging a 2 stock against 4 of the best players in the world.
Japan has so many incredible players who've emerged from the post-lockdown era. Players like Akola, Mia, and one of the old school, Yoshidora, who looked like the future of Japanese Ultimate. But I mean, you can't even forget, still the Japanese veterans keep churning out day after day, tournament after tournament. We're talking Shootone, Kameme, who have been dominant across multiple games and remain constant threats and also great mentors within the Japanese scene. With all 5 of these players making top 8, including Yoshidora at his first ever North American major, Japan had clearly emerged from Kaguribi and Battle of the BC as the game's top region. It was a good showing for Europe too. 5 EU players making in top 32, with Siskui, Tarik, and Andres all outplacing their seeds. And this is the kind of thing that makes you think, how many of these players just simply need to have more opportunities to show their kind of talent. And with great accolades coming in for international talent all over, it was very clear NA needs to move forward, and it can't just be Mexico. Battle of BC and Kaguribi were both incredible indicators of how difficult it is to compete in Smash Ultimate. There are killers all over the world, and no matter how good you are, nobody's safe from an upset at the hands of somebody playing the best Smash of their life. And yet, at the end of these tournaments, held an ocean apart, the same 2 players stood tall at the end. Sparg0 and Akola. Sparg0 knew at Battle BC was a chance to cement himself the world's first, and he was playing like it. He didn't face a single elimination game on his way to winners finals. His most difficult opponent was Mudace, and actually even in his post-tournament interview, he exclaimed that the only person he actually trained for was, in fact, Mudace.
What were the number 1 things that you were really looking forward to in preparing for?
I feel like during these tournaments, I only prepared for 1 player, and it was Mudace.
Mudace, yeah.
Because I knew I had him on my bracket, and I've never been a Mudace before.
He was only able to take a game, but Mudace had won 3 sets prior, all going to final game. He was the only demon standing in Sparg0's way. And once Sparg0 was able to defeat him, no one else stood in his path.
Akola, on the other hand, already had to sweat quite a bit before making it to Sparg0. Dark Wizzy and The Buzz both pushed him to a Game 5 on Saturday. And then, to kick off top 8, Mia pushed him to the absolute limit, winning games 2 and 3, but Akola had none of it, coming back strong and winning games 4 and 5 to set up the rematch from Kaguribi against Sparg0. Akola put up a valiant effort in winner's bracket with his Aegis, even taking the first game from Sparg0. But this is a character that Sparg0 has intense experience with, from both sides. He figured out Akola's just as he had figured it out against players like Cosmos, Shootone, and MK Leo. Just like everybody in the venue not named Sparg0, Shootone had no answers for Akola in losers finals. Akola dipped back into the pockets for grand finals, going with the Donkey Kong. It showed some life, but once again, Sparg0 simply adapted too quickly. Between winners and grand finals, Sparg0 won with an emphatic 6-1 game count, just as he did at Kaguribi 10. Their set counts also stand at 6-1 in Sparg0's favor now, with Sparg0 winning all 6 matchups since Akola's 3-2 victory at Ludwig's Smash Invitational last year. Despite a slow start to the year, Sparg0's win at Major Upset, Sparg0 claimed the crown this weekend at Battle of BC 5, and now it's on everyone else to chase him down.
The show of emotion, this kid is amazing. Sparg0, you're Battle of BC 5 champion.
If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And while you're at it, let me know what your favorite set of Battle of BC 5 was. Your feedback is appreciated while we continue to make this type of content. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, class dismissed.